And hello, everybody. I'm Swift.
GG,
I'm
guys.
running KH3 as well. With Thar here.
Yes, I am Thar, also running KH3.
Good luck, Thar. You can do this.
Thank you, my friend. By the way,
I have to root for my team.
One thing I want to say about Violin is we actually made a mistake as the moderators. Violin didn't actually submit 0.2 beginner. He submitted crit, but we accidentally put him down for beginner. But he agreed to learn the beginner category for us, and we really appreciate him being flexible like that. Thanks a lot, Violin.
All right, no problem, dude.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, KH3.
Okay, I'm also going to be here with the commentary with Thar and Swift here. Hello.
Hello.
But yeah, this is beginner. I'm used to running crit because that's the category I originally ran. And crit has level 3 air slide where beginner does not. Actually just did some unoptimal movement with that air slide there. I meant to dodge roll.
Yeah, you want to talk about the beginning choices that we make here?
Yes. So this is basically the same thing as picking up the weapons at the start of both KH1 and 2 in the dream weapons. So the choices that we pick are Wisdom and Mystic, which since we're on beginner, we're going to be using a lot of magic. Magic is very powerful in this game. So our first choice gives us a higher starting MP, which will let us cast more magic. And then the second choice changes our ability route, so that we'll be getting more magic-based abilities early on. Like Magic Combo Thrift, which we're actually going to get outside of our first fight in Olympus. And then this last choice is a choice that we only get with Remind, which is if you want to play the game normally, use easy codes or use pro codes, and for any percent, we just play as normal.
Yeah, so the Remind DLC, I'm not sure if you mentioned it already, but it lets you skip some of the cutscenes here.
Yes.
Considerably makes the run faster by like 2 minutes.
Being able to skip these cutscenes. Unfortunately, we can't skip this one as we come up out of the water. But being able to skip all the ones beforehand makes resetting a lot nicer.
Yeah, resetting was so terrible back in the day.
It really was.
Yeah, it's a little weird which ones you can skip and when. Okay, so it's our old friend Darkseid.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Air comboing him on the head. Oh.
How did that hit me?
Yeah, on beginner there isn't too much to it. Like you just spam attacks in air. On critical you can like block and counter these, but on beginner you don't have counter yet, so all you can truly do is attack.
And I can't get away from this overhead like downward swing attack, which is just terribly slow. Because I'm in a bit awkward position here.
Yeah, you want to be a little bit like below his head or the same level so that you get faster combos.
Oh dang, this is a close race.
It really is.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
So coming out of Darkseid as well, we actually got access to 2 types of magic. Fire, which is a staple throughout KH, and we're going to be seeing it a lot, especially towards the end of the run. But we also got access to Water, which we're going to see a lot in this opening here. And Water is a new magic that's specific to KH3, and something really cool about it is it has 2 hits on it. So we have a contact hit that comes up as the water goes around us, and then it also shoots a projectile afterwards. And we also get iframes from doing Water as well.
Yeah, in terms of tier 1 spells, it's considerably stronger than anything else really because of the double hit feature that it has.
So throughout this fight, I'm basically just going to be hugging enemies while casting these waters. Oh, that's not good. I accidentally put myself in MP charge. This is pretty bad because Donald actually has an ether on him that he doesn't use if you don't go into MP charge, so I'm going to pick up an extra ether as I go through Olympus to make up for that mistake.
Yeah, we want to save the menuing for after that fight, so you need to, use magic out of that command menu, and then you also have these items on your party members. You haven't taken them off yet, but now we get to do all the customize, and It'll be a bit more comfortable from here on.
Did you do the menu already, Swift?
I did, yeah. So
I just like I don't think I ever really learned the muscle memory for any of the beginner menus when I was grinding this category for a short time.
So there was a menu. I didn't go over it as I did it, but basically what we did was we took off the DLC Keyblade Starlight. At least I have it on in my case, because we can't use that until we actually get it in the run. I also customized magic, so I have fire, water, and an ether on. And then we removed some unneeded abilities, mostly flow motion focused. We also removed aerial dodge because it's just a weaker version of air slide for the case of the run.
The trap, that's what it is.
It is. And then we also equipped Magic Combo Thrift, which allows us to, as we cast magic in succession, it'll reduce MP cost by 1, which lets us get a little bit more magic out here. It really helps early on when we don't have too much MP.
Yeah, so against these flame cores, you're going to see them a lot in OC. It's just water. It just, you know, really destroys them, especially on a beginner.
Yeah, we have a lot of flame core fights throughout Olympus. Water does a lot of damage. Again, like the first fight, we're going to be trying to hug these flame cores with waters. They die in 2 waters with our current magic stat.
Yeah, and it should be noted that they have like a DM that they can do once they're below half health or so. They can do this really long attack during which you can't really physically attack them, at least not very well. But using water causes them to go into like a sort of stun animation, something like that. They can't DM during that time, and they'll just kind of slowly walk away.
And then coming out of this fight, I'm going to Trinity Sled across. We can actually get across this without doing the sled. It's nicer on crit when you have the larger air slide, but I'm just going to play it safe and not take the risk of burning.
I made a mistake, went into MP charge after this fight.
And now coming up here, we have a garden fight, which, as Thar said, we both ended up going into MP charge at the end of this fight, which isn't great because we don't want to have too much MP here. Because coming out of this fight, we're going to want to put ourselves in MP charge so that we refill our MP by the time that we get into the next area. So to start this fight, I'm going to spin on the pole, and it'll group these enemies up. And then again, we're just going to be hugging them with waters to take them out. So there's the DM that we were mentioning earlier, as that one flew up into the air. I'm burning as well. Thank you, Goofy.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate on Swift's side, but we got through it.
And then I'm going to spam some magic here to put myself in MP charge. And we're breaking this statue to cut the wall down as well.
Yeah, there's one item you get here, the magic ring, increases your magic by 2. Somewhat useful early game. Yeah, you saw Thor using Basso out of that hole there, very effective flow motion attack.
Yeah, not the best fight for me, but a little worried about my MP there. Let's see.
I'm gonna make a little detour here. So there's movement we can do to skip this sled. Because I had that mistake earlier, where I had Donald burn the ether, I'm gonna take a detour here and pick this ether up to make up for that.
Right, so also in terms of movement, you see they're using wall kicks, and then it's called super slide that you can do after that, a flow motion slide, and then attacking towards enemies. The attacks have a lot of like homing when you do them in this game. Also, yeah, Swift is starting the building fight, kind of an infamous fight in terms of Cage 3 speedrunning. Lots of resets happen here. Maybe on beginner less so, but anyway, very rough fight. We use the Magnet Splash of the second form. You can use magic in air to get to the finisher of the second form transformation, and that gives us Magnet Splash, which just groups everybody up and deals a bunch of damage.
And then here at the end, I'm going to use Goofy here, and hopefully these things will all be positioned that Goofy can hit them all and kill. Nice.
This is not good. I didn't get second form.
Oh no! Speaking of second form, we have access to situation commands now, which we saw in 0.2 earlier. And that's one of the big RNG parts of this run, is getting the commands that you want. So by doing certain types of magic, you'll be more likely to get the grand magic for that type. But by doing a mix of magic or mixing in physical hits, you also have the chance at getting a form. So there are times when we want one or the other, or both, and we don't get them. We also, just our first instance of an attraction flow there, that pirate ship, which we use on Rock Troll. It does a really good amount of damage, especially if you position it properly.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot going on here. Like, we got the form changes, we got the situation commands, the grand magic, we got attraction suddenly. So during OC, we just get lots of like abilities. Technically not abilities, but like, you know, gameplay elements that we get to use in combat.
I'm not having a good time here.
Oh no.
Yeah, you want to land this pirate ship well. So it's like very sort of tricky to land the pirate ship on the structural. You want to do it at a certain time to make sure that it hits the boss really well. Like, if you just use it randomly, then you can see the rock troll getting pushed away. Then the attraction doesn't do as much.
Guess now we know why the river's flooded.
I got caught off guard a little bit there in the opening because I didn't actually have MP, which was a first for this fight. So I was like, oh, I can't cast waters. And then, yeah, not a big deal.
So coming up here, we actually have a pretty cool movement skip. So basically what the game wants you to do here is take a forced fight. But by chaining attacks and air slides, we're able to get up here, which normally you'd have to fight those water cores, and it disables the waterfall and lets you climb the wall. There's another path you can take as well, but that also has a forced fight. And by doing that movement, we're able to just completely skip that fight. We're also going to take a menu here, and so I picked up Water Cufflink in the river before, so I'm going to be equipping that. The Cufflinks are very, very powerful, and then we're also going to be getting rid of damage control and putting on some abilities for Sora. We're going to be moving some stuff around, giving Goofy Likey Strike, which is important for getting Keyblade upgrade materials later. And now we're going into Rock Titan, which is a big boss.
Oh my goodness.
Is the crackling gone on my mic?
I don't think I've heard crackling.
Yeah, I haven't heard much.
Yeah, no, hopefully it's okay now.
Something else movement-wise you can also see is sometimes we're getting these air slides on the ground consecutively, these air slide chains. Basically, as you do an air slide into the ground, mostly on a sloped surface, it makes it a lot nicer. But there's a window where you can input another air slide, and then instead of doing dodge rolls on the ground, you can chain those air slides across, which ends up being slightly faster. It makes a much bigger difference as we get the higher level air slides later on. And so for Rock Titan here, I'm going to jump up to his leg and just spam waters on it while I'm hugging it here. And now that we have Water Cufflink, we're getting Water Boost, which is increasing the damage of our waters, and it also gives us access to the Water's Grand Magic here.
I need to move.
Is incredibly powerful. So you'll be seeing it quite a bit here. I'm gonna Ether here to get my MP back, and then again, we're just gonna be hugging this foot with waters to kill it. We also want to get second form here, but we don't want to use it yet. We want to hold it for the end of the fight.
Are you able to get the second form to the satyrs consistently?
For the most part now I've been able to, but the movement is pretty tight.
Yeah, it's really tight.
And then I popped second form there right before using the mountain coaster to kill. And by doing so, we have a full second form, and we're going to be doing specific movement here to try and carry this second form into the next fight, because it makes the opening for that fight a lot nicer. So once I get past this wall, we're going to hit the save point to get our MP back. And then we're going to be doing waters into this staircase, because as we're doing magic, the game can't revert us from our form. So that preserves the second form for us. And now since we do have second form here, we can just immediately stun impact, and it breaks the armor on these satyrs. I also got Flare Force, which is very nice to see. I'm gonna pop it here.
Oh, that's so lucky.
Hopefully awesome. That was good.
Yeah, that was great for Swift.
It looks like I'm probably not going to make this movement, but that's okay. I'm not very consistent at it.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty tight. You do need to also skip a fluoride chest. Like, you just can't pick it up if you do it this way. We used to pick it up before. Okay, so on the Swift side, we're about to get introduced to air stepping. So from the shot-lock wave, you can actually just hit square, and Sora will move really fast to that location.
Yeah, air stepping is probably one of the best new additions to Cage.
Oh, that's
very
so
cool for movement and fight.
Alright, especially with how big the arenas tend to be in this game compared to previous ones.
Well, at least I got Flare Force.
Oh, the Flare Force, yes.
Okay,
You had
so
such
the
a good
double
start
titans-
too, getting the iframe through with the water.
Yeah, I
It was
did, but then
unfortunate
I
getting
got
hit on.
Pyra and no water. Zuh.
Yeah, so the double titans fight starting on Swift side, so with the air step we can, and some water, we can avoid those beams they do at the start. And water finishes stagger Lava Titan always, so we abuse that to our advantage. Once he gets out of this stagger, he basically goes full like iframe immune and you can't attack anymore, so it's really important to keep it up.
Oh, there he goes. So whenever he's glowing orange like that and throwing lava around, we just can't do any damage to him. So I'm going to stay in this carousel a little longer to make sure that this finisher is actually going to hit him. And then since he's staggered here, we can just water him again and it'll keep knocking him back. So I'm going to move over to where Water Titan is to try and hug Water Titan and be closer to it.
Yeah, so that has something to do with a mechanic we call stagger endurance. So once we deplete the stagger endurance of a boss, then they're gonna be staggered on every hit that deals any stagger damage, which magic does. So the magic carousel finisher depletes the stagger endurance completely, and after that, every water just staggers Lava Titan for like 10 seconds.
Can be really good or kind of detrimental depending on where their health is at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the heads flailing can be pretty annoying.
Alright, now we're diving down onto Tornado Titan in the second phase. I'm gonna revert from second form by the time I get down to him, which is actually nice. Because second form's attack into air slide is actually slower than base Sora's in terms of movement. So this makes getting to him a bit faster. And then again, we're gonna be hugging with Waters. Unfortunately, didn't get the Waters there, so I'm just gonna hold off and go for another command here. Go Waters, and then I'm gonna pop Blaster Blaze here and just shoot him.
Yeah, another attraction here. You can't really see much of the stream, like it's just flashing, but basically you can just shoot like an FPS game, and then you can use the finisher, which is like a big explosion, deals a bunch of damage. It's a good job finishing OC.
Are you running a timer right now, Swift?
No, I'm not. I should have. It would have been good to know. But coming out of OC, we get Keyblade Hero's Origin, which we're going to be seeing quite a bit of in the next world, and then we're never going to see it again, unfortunately. But it's a pretty cool Keyblade. Its form change is also very interesting.
Yeah, we're going to see the form change in just a little bit as we go to Twilight Town. Not quite the team attack.
Oh my gosh. Oh. That is such an early DM.
So the thing there, Thar got the Flare Force, so Donald can give you two different team attacks here, the Flare Force and the Donald Meteor. So Donald Meteor can be used in this fight to just end it really quickly. It deals insane damage to this boss if you use it right, but unfortunately not quite it.
Never really happens.
It's such a weird lineup that you need, because you need Donald to give it to you, and you also need Tornado Titan to go up and shoot the buildings as well. So if you've like done too much damage and he just goes to suck you up, then you get nothing from it, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe I should have gotten a Waters though. Hopefully he doesn't teleport away. Alright, we're good. Nice. Not a very fast fight. Or fast OC in general, but
alright, good job.
OC is very hard.
It is.
Like, I think it's like the hardest part of the run to go fast in.
I agree. It's very hard to do early game well because we're so limited with the tools that we have. It makes every single mistake that we make, especially since we don't have aerial recovery, every time that we take a hit, we have that huge lag. It slows us down a lot.
Yeah, and so if you're not familiar with Kingdom Hearts 3, the gummy missions or whatever, that they're a little bit different in this game. So it's basically an open world. So you just fly in this 3D space, and you can also shoot these rocks. They can give you an important drop of fluorite. Yeah.
Yep.
So you can get fluorite, which you will use for Keyblade upgrading, which is very essential. We can also get those from chests, but if you do get those drops here, then you can skip chests.
We need 3 total for the run.
Yeah, we also take a specific route here that we get this gummy waypoint. So after unlocking that, we can start a gummy trip from that, and that'll save us some time later.
Oh, there's a fluorite. Awesome.
Okay.
Nice. I remember I think I've had 2 runs where I got all 3 fluorites before I get to Twilight Town, and even 1 Damascus.
Oh my god.
Which I think a Damascus is 1% chance.
I think it's lower than
Maybe
that.
not even a 1%.
If I
It's
remember
very low.
correctly, fluorite is like a 3% drop from each rock, and then Damascus is like 0.3.
Oh my god.
So, and you destroy like, I don't know, maybe 20 rocks.
So now we're coming into Twilight Town. This is going to bring back nobodies. We're going to have a bunch of dusks that we're going to be fighting here. So I'm going to start the fight off trying to get Waterza to clear out this first wave of dusks. I'm also going to try and get Counter Shield, which is the hero's origin Keyblade transformation. So I'm going to do a hit here and then do Waters, and hopefully I'll get both. I did. That's very nice. So then I can use Waterza, go into Counter Shield, air step to the back here to get myself in a position to use this pirate ship. And then we're just going to swing this pirate ship around and hopefully kill stuff.
Yeah, by the way, you can rotate the pirate ship.
Yes, it's very nice.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing, especially around Gauge 3's release, a lot of people didn't realize you can do that, and it's very effective. You utilize that to catch all the enemies here.
That was a really nice fight.
Alright, so the counter shield that he just built is gonna come in really handy for this fight. So, Demon Tide, this guy is sort of weak to thunder, more like resistant to everything else, but yeah, counter shield deals thunder damage, and you can do that by guarding 2 times to unleash this wrathful flurry, and you just see the HP going down really fast. And he also did a thing called what do you even call it? He popped the second form at the end of the counter, and that lets him keep the counter, so he didn't need to block the enemy 2 times again to get the powerful counter, but he could use it again right away.
I accidentally did a Sonic Blade there. What I tried to do was switch Keyblades to Counter Shield and do the Counter Shield finisher, because we actually want to keep second form for this upcoming fight. So instead I'm gonna have to grab second form in the sewers here.
Yes, also about form changes, if you switch your Keyblade to one that doesn't have a form change, you can keep the form changes on the other ones. So you can build them up and just store them and then bring them out when you want.
Alright, so for this Power Wilds fight, I'm going to be shot walking the ones up in the trees, just because those tend to jump around more than the ones on the ground, and then we're going to target these on the ground. That Power Wild there has a Splash Run attraction, which we're going to be using later in the fight.
Yeah, Splash Run is a huge deal because the way the finisher works is that it has a sort of lingering hitbox, so yeah, you can kill off one wave of enemies, and then the next wave spawns, and they're also going to get damaged by the finisher. And the AoE is just huge, and the damage is big. So...
No way!
Oh no.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Oh no.
Yeah, so sometimes Demon Tide, for some reason, doesn't quite hit Sora with that attack. Just barely misses, and Sora misses the guard and doesn't get the Wrathful Flurry that's so powerful.
Yeah, that's actually like a really big deal.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Next stop, the mansion.
Yeah, without the Wrathful Flurries, this fight is really slow, so you just need them.
Little feller sure seemed happy.
The finisher of Counter Shield also deals pretty decent damage. It kind of moves very randomly, so you can't rely on it too much.
Completely.
Yeah, but if you use the finisher right on top of Demon Tide, it's going to damage the Demon Tide during the transition animation, which is just completely still.
Also, in the forest after that Power Wilds fight, I picked up an Ether and a Fluorite. The Fluorites get used for Keyblade upgrades later on, as we mentioned before. And the Ether is going to be used in the next world.
Yeah, well, we used a lot of Ethers in this run. I guess the Mansion Fight, we again utilize Mana Splash, so using Magic in Air to get Mana Splash. That's going to group up all the enemies real nicely. Waters out big AoE damage, and then we use the Mana Splash again into Mad Teacups. So we actually want to use Mad Teacups just before Mana Splash explodes and deals damage. So we just use Mana Splash to group enemies up, and then use Mad Teacups to deal a bunch of damage. Some enemies were a little bit too far there for Swift, but cleaned it up after. You can see some air step movement there. Really handy, you can air step on those branches and super slide right after.
Oh, is that one Power Wild that's just over in Africa?
That is unfortunate. Okay, so Swift is coming up to ingredient collection. So you have to collect 9 ingredients. There are more than 9 spots where you can get them, but we have a specific route that's as optimal as it can be, and we can grab this fluoride chest on the way as well.
Have there even been like any other ingredient routes that people have made?
In the very early days, we used to like take a circle around the main shop, and that was a lot slower.
Yeah, I don't even remember those days.
It was a long time ago.
I think my internet cut out. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yep.
Okay, yeah, I lagged there for a good bit. Hopefully my stream's alright.
Yeah, it's showing up on stream.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's so dumb.
Okay.
Oh, did you not get? Oh.
We'll see how it's going for Thar.
I didn't get waters up, and I also wasn't close enough to the wall. That's okay, teacup still
Okay.
killed.
Yeah, I got the Mana Splash into Mad Teacups. That's what you want to see anyway. Okay, Swift. So where are you heading next?
Yes, so we are on the way to Toy Box now. There's some interesting gummy stuff that happens here. We're going to take a fight, and taking this fight and leaving it will actually refresh all of our boosts. And then we're going to be picking up a different ship here. It's on the right side, that constellation there. We can take a picture of it, and that'll unlock the Moogle gummy ship for us, which we're going to be using a little bit later on. So I'm going to turn the camera to the right here, take a picture, and then back out.
Yeah, you also need to go to gummy missions in the menu to actually unlock the ship to be used. And yeah, the Moogle ship is significantly faster than what we have right now, so that's why we do it.
I'm gonna need you to miss like gummy skip 5 times, please.
Oh god.
Yeah, gummy skip. So at the very start of like when this gummy boss is loading, you want to hit U-turn or camera, and that's going to nice first try.
Awesome.
Let's go through it. Yeah, so that just instead of putting you into that like auto scroller mode where you can't move freely, by using U-turn like at just the right time, you can just sort of just get out of that fight and just fly into Toy Box and skip that boss.
Yeah, Gummy Skip is very nice. We can do it here and in Monstropolis. And with the Moogle ship that we just picked up, the Gummy Skip actually makes picking up the Moogle ship a lot more viable, because Moogle ship doesn't do much damage, so on the bosses it would not be great. But since we don't have to do the bosses, we can skip them. Makes it very nice.
Yeah, we'll also eventually unlock a ship that's just really fast and really powerful. We're gonna use that to deal with the last gummy boss that can't actually be skipped.
I don't know if Swift did this, but I'm going to enable custom button assignments because it makes doing the U-turn on Gummy Skip a good bit easier.
Yeah, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can mash both the camera and the U-turn buttons. You can use custom button assignments to make it easier because by default they're L3 and the touchpad, so very awkward to mash.
Yes.
But yeah, the alternative is that you just time it. So you can argue about it, which is the better way to do it.
Timing's better.
Timing is better.
Yeah,
but I'm bad at timing.
Okay, Mr. First Try.
So in this shop here, I've picked up chocolate mousse, 2 chocolate mousse, which we're going to be using. That's a very low amount of wellspring shards. Oh my goodness. Picked up ethers, which we're going to be using throughout these next few worlds. Chocolate mousse gives us 1 magic when we use it. It's a nice dessert to have. And then I also picked up tents, which fully restore HP and PM tokens. That blizzard was so sad.
Yeah, so we can use Blizzard to create this Blizzard trail and slide on that for faster movement, especially early game. Now we'll see Thar doing the gummy skip. Not quite first try. Hopefully second. Hopefully third. Okay, we also see Swift going into these mech fights or gigas. This is a bit of a gimmick in Toy Box. You don't really fight a Sora that much in this world, to be honest. Your stats don't really matter. Yeah, you just you just sort of play a mini game. Defeat enemies, you still get a bunch of experience. So it's kind of handy in that sense.
So with the blue mech that we're in now, our triangle command is exploders, which sets these 2 cannons off on our side, shoot out a bunch of bombs. But there's 2 other types of mech, the purple and red, which we'll be seeing all of them as we go through Toy Box here. So we're gonna fly.
Yeah, we're gonna need some blessings in chat for
this is pain.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is looking real rough.
I'm so sorry, Thar.
I'm just gonna start mashing because I guess I'm used to PS5 timing. That I forgot how to do it. And
that
of course,
might
that's
be
all I
a
needed to
little
do was just mash.
Yep. Oh no.
Okay.
I hate this
Okay.
game.
Yeah, Thar did recently play this on PS5, so that timing is going to be slightly different, I assume.
To be honest, the reason I stopped grinding this category after the last time I was grinding it was because of Gummy Skip.
Yeah, it's really painful when you...
It's the worst thing ever.
It is a very brutal trick.
It's
kind of just
both
goes into a downward spiral.
It's both the best thing and the worst thing. Like it's great when you get it, and it really sucks when you don't.
So earlier in the world, I picked up double arrow guns, and the reason for that is it has double flight built in. So by having that here, we're able to skip that fan cycle where we would normally have to wait for that fan to blow us up. We can just double flight all the way up on our own.
Yeah, double flight basically a double jump, an ability that Sora will get later in the game, but arrow guns already have it if you're in the form.
Did the second wave spawn or the last wave? I don't know if it did.
Nah, just roll with it.
It did. Okay.
Oh, nice.
I didn't get arrow guns, so I had to do a buzzsaw to get it real quick.
Okay, that was alright. Also, Swift picked up a truly important item, the what's its name?
Gold Amulet.
Yeah, so that converts all the money orbs into big money orbs. And over the course of this run, that's going to give us a lot of money. And we're going to need that for ethers.
We buy a lot of ethers.
Yeah.
we use a ton of ethers throughout the run, so as much money as we can get.
And also the gold amulet, you can
definitely.
just have it on a party member. You don't need it on Sora for it to be effective.
So in this menu, I put the gold amulet on Donald. I also equipped Fire Cufflink, which we just got from a chest. It's like the water cufflink, but for fire. So we're going to be using a lot of fires here. We also just got Fire Boost as well on Sora. So now we have the innate Fire Boost that we have built in, as well as the Fire Boost from the Fire Cufflink, and we also have access to Firaza.
Yeah, on top of that, this boss, Angelic Amber, is just weak to fire, so we just deal a lot of damage.
So something important there was getting double arrow guns and then immediately switching off of it to store it. So double arrow guns we're going to be using for this upcoming boss fight, the UFO here.
Yeah, the mini UFO it's essentially hit based. Your damage doesn't really matter. You just need to deal a bunch of hits. Now stuff like shot locks don't really work. Like you would think shot lock that's like 24 hits or whatever. Nah, that doesn't work. But arrow guns, you can use this rapid fire function and it just brings the health bar down really quick.
This hero soldier, man.
Oh no. Yeah.
I mean, that was decent against the mechs, other than that in there.
Yeah, in that mech fight, you do also need to worry about the little guys if your party members don't take care of them or whatever.
Almost there.
Alright, Swift finished the mini UFO. Good job on that.
And then we're picking up one other chest here, the Petite Ribbon, which sells for 750 money, which is just about 3 to 4 ethers for later on.
Yes, the Ripper.
I hate this item so much. I don't like picking up this chest, but it gives so much money and it's worth it.
It's been a thing for so long, like since the start of Gauge 3 speedrunning. Like, do we pick up the ribbon or not? Like, do we need it or do we not need it? Do we skip it? But now we pick it up.
Especially with the... Did you already talk about the new Force Ring route? Well, I guess we haven't
Not
gotten
yet,
like that far,
yeah.
but yeah, we need more money with the route that we recently swapped to.
Anyway, we're in Rex, so this is even more of a mini game than what we did with the mechs before.
A little worrying.
Yeah, this looks a little scary. So there's a specific cycle you need to hit with the floor trap there. Okay, just barely got it. So after like 2 seconds, that floor trap would have turned off, and then all those mechs would not have died, and that would have been really bad. Then Swift would have to have hunted those down manually.
So we do a lot of pre-firing on the bombs here because we know when these prime mechs are going to spawn in. Basically, for that second wave, we have to kill 6 prime mechs, and by knowing their spawn positions, once you kill 3, it spawns in the next 3. We're able to pre-fire on the bombs there to catch them as they spawn in, which is very nice. I'm gonna punch the gold mech here. He'll phase transition, I can punch him off, and then we just kill him with shooting and exploders and a punch. Okay, there we go. Good Farum Rex. Very worrying opening, but I thought it was good.
That was alright. Okay, we did get the best link in the game just now. We can talk about it later when we use it. It's the Ralph, the Wreckage Ralph.
Ralph is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
So completing Verum Rex also gave us another accessory slot, so we're able to equip that magic ring that we unequipped for the cufflink earlier. We also got high jump as well. And now we're gonna leave the world, actually. We aren't done with the world yet. I'm also going to take the time to unlock Moogle Ship now, because I didn't do it in the gummy before. And then we're making our way over to Kingdom of Corona instead of finishing Toy Box.
Yeah,
But
so here
we
you can
will be
see
coming back later.
having grabbed that gummy waypoint earlier is really good here. So we can start the trip from really close to Corona, and this trip won't take any time at all. Okay, meanwhile, the Star fighting Angelic Amber.
And all of my fires are whiffing because I'm not positioning myself well.
Yeah, it can be really tricky sometimes. Yeah, you can just shoot the fires and just hope that they hit. Like, it's kind of very position based, and if the enemy is moving, that's gonna affect it a lot.
I thought it was good, but apparently it wasn't.
Yeah, it's really tricky.
So coming into Kingdom of Corona, we're actually going to see our first usage, or another usage of a Meow Wow Link, because we used it in Andy's room as well. But Meow Wow Finisher does a lot, especially with how high our magic is, because it scales off our magic damage. So we're just going to use that to clear out a bunch of these waves here.
Yeah, and a little bit of shot lock to spawn the next wave, and then just one more finisher, and that's it.
And then we're also going to take the time here to customize Thunder and Arrow. So Thunder we got from beating Mini UFO, and Arrow we got from the fight that we just did. So I'm seeing in chat people asking about the world order. So the way that we do this is we go to Toy Box first, because the opening of Toy Box is a bunch of mechs, basically. That's all that matters. So our stats don't really matter. We also are able to pick up Ralph, which is very, very useful for Corona. And then we leave Toy Box before doing the boss, because coming over to Kingdom of Corona, we end up getting a really good Keyblade at the end, and then we're also getting some magic boosts here and level ups, which are going to help as we come back into the world later to deal with the last boss.
Yeah, we're also see some more of the armor mechanic here. So these enemies G-Puffs, you just need to use some arrow on them to get rid of the armor, and after that they're vulnerable.
So again, we're going to be using second form here to magnet burst things. Just stay in the air above them and group them all up.
That's so unfortunate.
Oh no!
The Primex can be really awful with the way that they decide to move.
That last one in particular,
terrible.
if your movement or your positioning is off like mine was, then alright, please be a bro. Please come down here.
Yeah, that Prime really just hit in the corner.
And that last Prime in particular as well, because then you end up further away from Gold Mech as well. It gets quite a bit worse.
And that was a good use of the explosive trap there.
Right.
Managed to recover it well.
I was expecting a little bit worse than a 109.
Yeah,
that's
that's
not bad at
definitely
all.
okay.
I'm actually really surprised that explosive trap, he was in range of that. I wasn't sure if that was going to actually hit him.
Yeah, the AoE of those traps is a little bit bigger than it looks, I would say.
Whoops.
Okay, there's also gonna come up a new enemy on Swift side here, the Reapers. They have this feature where they can go immune to all other attacks except fire, and then using fire on them brings them back. Also, we're using the arrow guns here. The arrow guns shoot fire a little differently, so you see 2 balls of fire getting launched instead of 1. They are weaker, like for one shot, but overall the damage is bigger. And
If
then
they
using
all hit.
Firaza,
Yep.
yeah, using Firaza and arrow guns, that's actually a lot more damage than just normal fire.
Yeah. By not locking on when we do that Firaza with the arrow guns, it'll hit a multiple of those Reapers. So we
Yeah,
end up
it's gonna
spreading the
lock
damage
on to
throughout
like
them.
everybody equally.
Don't like what that guy said.
And you did build the magic launcher, right?
We better
Yes.
find Rapunzel
Yeah.
before he does.
So we're going
Yeah,
to
so
want the
after-
magic launcher transformation for later.
Yeah, after arrow guns, you get the magic launcher, so it's like a form after the form, and yeah, that's gonna come in really handy in a fight later, the next fight.
So I'm hitting the save point here to get MP back. And we're gonna try and line up a blizzard here. I'm very bad at this blizzard normally, but if you do it properly, you can get all the way through between these trees. That looks a little too far to the right. Ah, that was close-ish.
Yeah, the
Better
ground
than
is
usual.
very uneven, and then there's all the trees, so it's really quite tricky to aim that blizzard just right.
Pretty solid though.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
that wasn't bad.
Okay, Thar also starting Corona here.
17's a little bit of an overkill, but it doesn't really matter.
Cheerful out here.
Uh-huh. Now where's Rapunzel?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
big
it's
thing about that
next
first
wave.
fight is we don't want to do a full shot lock. Because doing
Yeah,
a full,
the full shot
lock,
lock is just different, and that in most cases it doesn't hit enemies very easily. Like you need a lot of open space for it to hit properly. So
yeah.
Pretty.
How about we stop for a second and enjoy the scenery?
but generally the full shot locks deal a lot more damage than the partials. But in this case, not really necessary to have that much damage.
And in the case with arrow guns, it actually has 3 different shot locks you can get, where most Keyblades only have 2, depending on how many enemies you lock onto.
Yeah, with the full shot lock, I believe if you lock onto 1 or 2, then it's different. If you lock onto more, then that's the really bad one. Because the magic launcher is coming into play for Swift here. The finisher of magic launcher is just insane for this. It's like a lingering hitbox that just kills 2 waves at once, and then we get the splash run that just kills the rest of them, except one of them survives.
I'm gonna do some fires into a partial shot lock here on Chaos Carriage. I don't want to do the full one just because he's gonna be moving and it'll whiff. But now when he's coming to a stop here, I can do the full one. And it should all connect. Because we can only hit his head and deal damage to it here. I'm gonna do a Firaza here to kill him. Pop an Ether and then go over towards this wall. And the positioning here is pretty important. We're going into Ralph here.
Yeah, so this Ralph setup, we basically build a tower, and then we're gonna bait the boss to just coming under it, and then we just blow it up. It just kills the boss.
Alright, hopefully he stops here. I was
Yeah,
a
that
little
one-
positioned poorly.
That one is a lot trickier. Like if you try to do it on the last phase, the setup is not super consistent, but Swift went for it and got some damage out of it.
At least part of it connected.
Yeah. Yeah, so Ralph is kind of complicated, but one way to use him is to just build a straight tower and then have the enemy inside it, and then use the finisher to blow it up, and it deals a bunch of damage.
So I took a small menu there as well to equip Water Boost, which we won't be seeing for a while, but we also just got Super Jump, which is a flow motion ability, which is what allowed me to jump off of that wall when we're in flow motion to pick up that Mage's Earring chest, which is an accessory that we're going to want to have in a bit. Oh, that was a terrible blizzard.
I've never seen so many flowers.
Okay, another section of air stepping here. You try to get the air step target really far, like as far as you possibly can.
Oh my goodness.
Just a moment.
Just ignore me.
Oh, well, what is going on?
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do.
Okay, so while Swift is picking up some stuff at the town of Corona, starts fighting the Reapers, got the magic launcher,
Hey, I think that's a lucky emblem.
finishing
That
the
was
fight
really-
with some fires.
That looked really good.
Is that
Yeah, that was a
Really,
great
really
fight.
good.
the end of the street?
Coming up here, we have a minigame. It's a dancing minigame. There's a set route that we do for it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, everyone's favorite minigame. We do have strats for this.
Mm-hmm.
Keep dancing.
That's actually, I haven't really seen that strat a lot. Like, yeah, you can also perform on the barrels to fill that bar in the top left quite quickly. But what Swift did instead was switching partners a lot, which the animations are faster. So if you can do it quickly, then it's actually, I believe, faster that way.
Mm-hmm. And then here we're gonna end up seeing some of the performing on the barrels. So I'm gonna switch twice here. And then jump on this barrel. And then we're gonna repeat that over here on this other set of people.
Yeah, and to be clear, you can't simply like spam performing on the barrels, so you need to do this other stuff in between to get another opportunity to use that. And then the sun wheels are what we want, so we need to do the sun wheel 2 times to finish this minigame.
You got it!
This is so fun.
You got it!
And Thar on his end is doing the movement with double flights. We kind of glossed over this before, but Den found this movement. It's very cool. Lets you get over towards that end tunnel where we pick up a Damascus, which is a Keyblade upgrade material. And it's just a generally fast way of getting to Chaos Carriage.
Yeah, again, the double flight coming in really handy. But yeah, not only the double flight, but also having the magic launcher finisher is a really big deal here. Anyway, Swift doing the town fight here, more creepers. So what we're gonna use is magic carousel, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
so,
pop this and hope. Oh, we got the hit. Awesome.
yeah, so that's another lingering hitbox sort of thing. So it killed that wave, and the next wave spawned, and it immediately hit the next wave as well. So those Reapers basically just started with half their HP, and then it's easy to clean it up. Meanwhile, Star is starting the Chaos Carriage fight, or has started. Gonna burn down this first phase, and then we go for the Ralph.
The Ralph Towers are so awesome. It's just so
Ooh,
cool
that's
to
unfortunate.
see that. Oh no!
Slightly off position there. Didn't deal the full damage. So we're just going to need to back it up with a little bit of shot luck, some physical hits.
Ooh.
Okay, we're going for the second Ralph. Did he
That
fall
was a
off?
big mistake.
Oh no.
Yeah, that did not go as planned. Ooh, I believe there's a little bit of MP there. Like one object.
I don't think so, because I did the splash run.
Yeah, it was showing the target there.
Is it just me, or are the heartless multiplying?
That can't be good. Hurry!
Should have just done some fires, but I wanted to see if I could redeem myself after the first scuff trail.
Okay, so
We're almost there.
finish the fight with some arrow guns and having the MP recover.
We're coming up to a fast tower fight here, basically by just going Meow and jumping. Meow's jump has an arrow property to it, so we can remove the armor on the Chief Puffs and then immediately finish the fight.
Yeah, all the enemies have pretty low HP, so the finisher is just enough to kill them. So
We're
next
also
is
coming into a really fun fight.
yeah, Grim Guardian is, so we're gonna unleash Ralph's full potential here. So basically we're gonna chain these blocks. So we're gonna place these blocks into the light of the previous block, and then we're gonna build a tower where the upwards block's light is going to create this chain of explosions. But these are all chained now because of the upwards block down there. And then Grim Guardian smashes down and
Awesome.
let's go.
Such an awesome fight.
So
That
that's
has
a
done
lot of
a lot
damage.
of work optimizing the Ralph setups, especially for the higher difficulty categories. On beginner, we have it easy, but on crit and level 1, making sure that the chains are set up exactly properly is a lot more important.
Yeah, there are actually some really specific details to that setup, how you want to build it so that you guarantee getting a good enough chain that it actually kills the boss. Like if the blocks don't chain as you want them to, if the chain is shorter, then you don't get as much damage. The higher the chain is, the more damage you get. So yeah, there's some details what you need to do to get like a maximum chain out of it.
Ralph is like the one link in this game that actually has like a skill cap to it,
Yeah.
where you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Every other Link, you can basically just press buttons and it does a lot of damage. So we're taking another little bit of a detour here back into Kingdom of Corona to get to this town, because this barrel we can't actually perform on until we've done the dancing minigame. But that opens up this chest, which has a magic boost in it.
Well, technically
put on
we
Ever After, which
can
we just
perform
got.
on it.
Oh yeah.
Let's not get into that. No, we can't.
Yeah, so there's an out of bounds that you can do to get here earlier, skipping the triggers, but it's not worth it for any category, really.
Yeah, level 1 used to do it, but I think it was routed out.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I never really liked it.
But anyway, the magic boost you get out of it, it's a pretty big deal for beginner. It lets us hit some specific damage thresholds here to make fights faster. And then we can skip some magic later on as well. And we also have the Ever After now from completing Corona, and then we upgrade it. It's that way we just upgraded our magic stat a whole lot.
Yes, our magic is very high now.
Yeah.
2 magic boosts, like what, 4 magic from the Keyblade?
Yep. And then the Mage's Earring and Rune Ring accessory both give 3 magic as well. So we have a lot of magic that we just got, which is going to make going back through Toy Box here at the end a lot nicer. One spot in particular becomes much nicer.
Is Ralph still the main way to get out of bounds? I wasn't
out of
aware
bounds
there was
is
a way to get out of
actually
bounds with Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph out of bounds. They
That must be the
haven't
window
ever been a
side
thing for
bridge.
speedruns. In general, that was sort of more what happened in the early days. Like there was some out of bounds with Ralph. Not really a lot, to be honest. The main method, honestly, is just air sliding into specific corners while having stable mode enabled, which basically causes uneven frame pacing, essentially lag. There are a couple of other methods of out of bounds as well, but... Anyways, with this doing more of this, we're finishing up Toybox here with more mech fights, so we need to assemble a particular familiar creature from the FF series out of these blocks to get up to the vent where we can see some darkness coming from, and we need to go there to stop it.
Oh yeah, there was somebody in chat earlier saying how base game KH3 has no FF characters. And you're about to find out that's wrong.
Yep.
Checkmate.
Hey, there's some over there.
Yeah, the stable mode in Cage 3 is it's more like unstable mode. That's exactly so.
So part of the reason that we leave Toybox when we do, and then come back, is for this in particular. Having high enough magic stat here, we hit just the right threshold to make it so that that Meow finisher there ends up one-shotting the larger toys. So then we never have to drop down to the lower area, and we can just fly back up. Because there are two large toys down on the bottom that we used to have to drop down to.
What?
Oh, that Reaper is just following you, okay.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, they have that one particular attack where they sort of just move with Sora. But yeah, I've never seen that happen there.
I have never seen that either.
I've never seen that happen either. So we're at a purple mech now, which has these larger cannons, and by jumping out and going back in, it actually refreshes the cooldown on them, which is why we were able to do 2 instantly at the start.
Yeah, some people like to use it even more times, but I think using it 2 times is generally optimal.
Our friend is here. Look at him in all his wonderful glory.
Yeah, also about the mechs, purple mech has really bad movement, so that truly didn't fly us very high up, but we can just walk around that cactuar. Because ever after is coming into play here, the shot lock of it is just insane. It's just unbalanced, crazy damage. It also doesn't really have projectiles in a sense, so it's almost guaranteed to hit the enemies.
So I'm gonna do 2 full shot locks. I'm gonna try and get closer to UFO here so I don't get hit thunder and throw a refocuser. And then as I'm falling here, I want to do another full shot lock, and the shot lock will kill.
Like, I barely had to focus.
Yeah. Cut it very close.
There's not an invisible wall, but the portal to the final boss, the UFO, will not spawn until you activate the cactuar. Thank you, JV.
Oh, and Thar also, just finished up Corona.
Yeah, so also about the one thunder that Swift did, that way the shot log actually finishes the boss, so it's very important to do that one.
Yep, 1 thunder, 3 shot locks.
Yeah, exactly enough damage.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about how strong the Ultima weapon shotlock is and how it's the strongest in the games. In a lot of ways that is certainly true, but there are a lot of ways that Ever After shotlock is actually better than Ultima's, especially with that stagger endurance thing we were talking about earlier. And we will see more of that later in the run here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some very exciting shotlock stuff.
There are some particular scenarios where Ever After shotlock is actually optimal, like the way it staggers enemies.
I'm going to be taking a little bit of a detour here before we go to the next world. So Monstropolis is on our right side. Arendelle's there on the left side. But we're just going to ignore both of those worlds and fly straight forward. And there's two reasons for that. One is this waypoint that we can see right up here. And then the other is we're going to be picking up Endymion, which is a Moogle ship that is both very, very fast and also very strong for fights.
I was about to be like pretending that we have no idea what Swift is doing. I'm like, well, where are you going? what are you doing?
I ruined the bit.
Go back to the speedrun.
I want to take pictures. Space is so beautiful.
Yeah, so this might seem like a waste of time. Like this is taking so long. He's just flying here. But yeah, you're gonna see why this is worth it in just a moment.
Let's see.
Alright, now we have Endymion. And Endymion goes extremely fast, which we'll see going into this next gummy flight here as we make our way over to Monstropolis.
There we go, that's our new ship. So just look at how fast this ship goes. And on top of that, it recharges boosts faster than other ships, so it's just insane. And this ship also has actual damage, unlike the Moogle ships, and that's going to come in handy later when we have to deal with the final gummy boss.
And now we have our second instance of Gummy Skip, the trick that we performed earlier. Oh my god, I can't believe this happened.
That's crazy. This is like...
Did you? I'm so mad right
I got I got third and fifth try yesterday. I'm so surprised I got the first try today. Wow.
Oh, Swift.
Are you on like TV pace now or something?
I have no clue. I wish I had a timer going.
I actually just had a really good mech fight one in Kid Corral. That was probably my best ever.
Oh, Thar, have you ever gotten the one shot on Kids Corral 2?
In practice.
I haven't even had it happen in practice.
You know, anytime you ask me, have you ever gotten this in KH3, the answer is always going to be in practice.
Yeah, so if you're lucky, like the way the enemies change their positions and stuff, you can just instantly end this fight. The stars on with just that Meow finisher. Very rare.
It's those security cameras, whether like they're up or down, the position they're in.
Whether they're in reach of the AoE.
Feel much better when Boo's back in her own room.
Anyways, we're starting Monstropolis. First fight, nothing crazy. Meow out to take care of the floods.
We take a small shop there. We buy Koopa Coin, which isn't very necessary, but it's nice to have for safety. It's cheap, and then you get to play Reckless on a few fights you otherwise might have to pay more attention on. Get a Fruit Compote for food for later, and more ethers. And here
one of the security cameras stayed on top of the ceiling the entire time.
Oh.
That's really obnoxious.
Yeah. Was that audio a little bit weird?
That was very weird. It like cut out before the kill happened. I was
yeah. I don't remember hearing that before.
I wonder where Boo's going.
Okay, so the rail section is starting for a Swift here. Nothing much you can do about it. You can super slide during it, but on beginner, only having one super slide, it's not that fast. There's some enemies you need to deal with, and some lightning that you need to evade. So the lightning, with very specific timing, yeah, you can super slide through it without taking damage. But with one super slide, not really worth going for. It's so tight, and like you don't really have a good queue for it.
What? What?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Not quite getting the full shot lock. So yeah, you see that's so much less damage if you don't get the full shot lock on this boss. And that's very unfortunate. Okay, using the Ralph backup, this is what I like to see.
Hey! Oh, sweet.
No!
How did that?
Oh no!
How did that miss? Did the boss move downwards a little bit?
What? I'm so confused.
That's
Oh,
insane.
no.
Oh my god.
Oh no, I'm so happy about
Oh,
the Ralph.
the arrows! I just want to kill the boss.
No! Okay, yeah, we saw the arrows.
We're taking a look at that one later. That... I'm calling baloney.
Yeah, we saw the arrows that just move Sar up, like cause the super jump to happen, slightly delaying the end of the fight. Anyway, we kind of missed this first laugh fight that Swift was having, so this is a bit of a gimmick in one-shot list that you need to kill enemies to fill a laugh bar, and after that's done, use a Stream Strike to end it. Nothing too different about like compared to a normal fight. You just need to kill enemies and that's it. But if Sally takes damage, then the bar will go down. But with the strats we have, it's not really an issue ever.
Sorry if that was loud. That was just God, that was so bogus.
I'm so sorry.
No,
I just like that's so weird. First of all, I don't know what happened with my focus on the shot lock. I don't know if it was the second or third, but the Ralph completely missing. That's beyond me.
Yeah, and it needs to get a pre-play a slow-mo on that one after this. Yeah, the shot lock in that fight is very tight. You know, if you try to run this on a base PS4, then you just actually can't do it because the game is just a little less performant, and
you have to pick up an elixir.
Yeah. Then you can't get as many shot lock ticks per focus that you have, so it's just not enough. But even on PS4 Pro or PS5, it's still a little tight. Like you need to do it just right to get it.
I haven't played my PS5 enough to like notice very many differences with shot locks between PS4 Pro and PS5. PS4 Pro shot locks are already like very lenient. Yeah. I'd say that one right there, that King of Toys shot lock, that's probably like the hardest one on Pro to get.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I think David Jones might also have a little bit of trouble. Remember that having some lag. But yeah, in case PS4 Pro runs at 60 frames per second, then that's like as good as it can be. But if it has any frame drops, then it's gonna affect the shot locks.
So coming up here, we have this electric room fight, which I'm gonna ether buffer a Meow Wow. So that ether took effect after the Meow Wow came out. And then I'm gonna shot lock these two toads to kill them. And we're gonna go straight into Meow Wow, and this Meow Wow finish should kill everything here.
Yeah, so intentionally using the partial shot lock just because the full shot lock isn't needed, and the partial is just much faster to use. The animation is really short.
Pretty sure
Oh, the common skip.
Guardians of Light, I'm so sorry.
Oh no! You can do it, Thor.
Hey, we need your energy, chat. First Thor.
So this is one of the biggest fights in Monster
Yeah, let's go.
Also be hey.
That's slightly less painful than the earlier one.
Only slightly less.
Oh, I got extra wave. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, so in this fight, you can get this wave to spawn, or you might not. It's random, and generally this is seen as a bad thing. Like technically, it's still the same amount of enemies that you have to kill, but it's just less convenient to deal with.
Yeah.
Oh, this blood's stuck in the ground. There we go. So here, normally I would shot walk this toad, but because I used that shot walk on the 2 toads earlier with the extra wave, you don't actually have the focus to do that. So I'm gonna use these attractions instead.
Yeah, there we go. That was good. By the way, Scream Strike is a team attack that you can get outside of these specific, like, scripted sequences. It's a team attack that you don't really want to see. It's just so bad. It does literally nothing. And it takes a long time to use if you accidentally hit it.
Yep.
And Swift can tell you.
It's bad.
Swift has personal experience on this matter.
Let's see.
Okay, so coming up next is the Firefight. So it's gonna be a bunch of flame cores, those enemies that we saw back in OC. And again, water is gonna be effective.
So I'm gonna do a full shot walk to take out the big toad, and then hopefully that'll trap some floods in the air, which I'm gonna switch to Shooting Star and then Thunder them, because Mirage Staff Thunders are actually pretty slow, cast-wise. And then here, I'm gonna use Splash Run, up against these crates. We're gonna land on this one to kill it. I was a little slow on this, so this might not kill everything, but hopefully the Splash Run will connect with everything. I missed this one. But we can clean that up with waters.
Yeah, Splash Run, as you might guess, deals water damage, so very effective against flame cores.
Did you use that in Shooting Star or ever after?
Shooting Star.
It should still one shot with positioning with Shooting Star, right?
Yeah. It looked like it killed all the others. I don't think the party hit it.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter like which Keyblade you have out in terms of like how much damage you're going to have. Like if a Keyblade has more magic, then you want to have that Keyblade out when you use magic to deal maximum damage. And attractions, they all scale with magic. And links. And shot locks.
Lots of things scale with magic.
And like, very few things scale with strength. Pretty much melee attacks and that's it.
Yeah.
We can drop down from here.
So we have another firefight coming up. This one's just gonna be a whole bunch of meow out here. So I'm gonna meow in the center, and then double ether, and then do 2 more meows. So that first ether gave me MP for the first Meow Out. The second one, ether buffers, so that now I don't have to throw another ether for this Meow Out. And then we just have to clean up these 2 large bodies, which died to a partial shot lock. 7 hits on each of them.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of MP orb drops which just recover your MP from that state. Do you have access to... you have magic treasure magnet, right?
Yes, yeah, from Mage's Earring.
So that way when you kill enemies with magic, all those prizes immediately come to Sora, so that includes MP orbs, so you just get MP immediately. More of these chunky enemies. Yeah, go ahead.
Something very important about the end of this world is that we have Mirage Staff. We want to have it by the time we leave this fight to have it for the last boss. And I'm going to be storing that. I've been storing it since the last floor fight because I got it since we got Extra Wave and we just had that extra time. But it's very important for this last boss coming up.
Yeah, so what you can do with Mirage Staff is you can create clones, and you can create up to 4 clones. You do that by sliding, so you can slide on the ground or slide in the air. And then the clones, they all shoot at the enemy. Like when you have clones out and you hit attack, you're gonna just shoot these projectiles real fast. And this boss, this is like super resistant to everything, especially in this form. So each of these shots is dealing on beginner 2 damage each. It's like almost minimum damage. Well, on beginner it's minimum damage that you can deal ever. But since we have 4 clones and Sora himself shooting, that just adds up and it's actually a lot of damage.
Also the fastest way to build situation arrows.
Yeah, you just see those arrows building up and, you know, Mirage Staff timer is getting replenished and also getting that Erosa, since it's a Raptor ability that you can get Erosa.
And if you're lucky, you can actually kill the boss sometimes before he goes into his DM, which I didn't practice yesterday, of course.
Good, that was a fast fight.
That was very nice.
And Swift just did it there.
Yeah, so the thing is that the clones don't vanish if you don't use the finisher. So you stop attacking right before the finisher. You can cancel the attack with a slide. As long as you don't like accidentally hit the finisher, you just slide out before it happens. You can restart the combo and just keep shooting.
Wow.
There is also the thing where with Monstropolis, you have Mike as your ally. He has an ability where he just buffs everyone's damage by 50%, which is kind of insane. It is especially good for the Mirage Staff clones, since it's going to bring up the damage from 2 to 3 per shot. And yeah, well, it's just 50% more damage. It's a lot.
So now on the way to Arendelle, we're using the waypoint that we picked up on the way to Endymion as well. So that's also part of what makes that detour that we do earlier even more worth it, so that we get a faster trip here.
Have to re-aim the shot lock because a lot of that hit on a snake there.
Hopefully you don't get extra wave.
Now I get a unison fire. Thanks, Donald.
Okay, so that was just 2 survivors, but no extra waves, so you're going to see this fight go a little differently for Thor.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know if this would be faster than just like kill them both individually, but it's what I did anyway.
That was a very nice way to do it. You got Mirage Staff out of it too. That's sweet.
Yeah, this is some crazy strats here. Some improv.
Go into another Meow Wow. Maybe I can get this teacups off.
Do you think the Heartless are after her?
Probably wasn't worth it actually, but it does refresh some of your Mirage Staff duration. I don't know if we said that, but whenever you're in a Keyblade transformation and you go into something like a Link, a Team Attack, or an Attraction, some of the duration on your Keyblade form change actually gets refreshed. So, like, doing things like going into Links or Team Attacks or Attractions like that is a very good way to extend a form change.
Yeah, basically there's a system where the game doesn't want to put you into a situation where you come out of something and then you just have like 0 seconds of your form left.
It also gets refreshed like during cutscenes, when you enter like a cutscene like I am right now in a form.
Yeah.
See, my form's like at full right now. I'm going to pick this up for safety because I've used a lot of ethers in this run.
Coming up here, we're gonna see Simba get used, which we just got in that previous world on our last firefight. So I'm gonna be jumping around here to damage this troll and then also kill a bunch of the deer. And then this finisher should hopefully kill all the deer, and we'll just have to shot walk the troll to death.
Yeah, Simba is the big reason that we need to play some Monstropolis before coming to Arendelle. I don't know, without Simba, there could maybe be some reasons to come to Arendelle first, but with Simba you just absolutely cannot skip it. It's really essential in Arendelle.
Yeah, Simba sees a lot of use in this world, especially coming up here through this ice labyrinth.
Yeah, in the ice labyrinth there's going to be a bunch of like basically identical fights against these ninja heartless enemies. Or are they nobodies? Anyway, basically how they go is that you just use Simba finisher and hope for the best. So it one-shots them, but there's a chance that one of them like escapes the AoE range. So that's why we hope for the best.
So here's one of those. Hopefully we will just be getting all the kills, but we'll see. Oh wow, well we're off to a good start.
Oh no. Yeah, so you can back it up with partial shot lock. It's important to get the shot lock count just right, because if you go too low, then the enemy is probably going to do this little DM where you can't hurt it for a bit. And well, obviously you also don't want to do a full shot lock, that would also fail. Partial shot lock, the damage comes instantly, so it doesn't have any chance to DM, it just dies.
Also, so a gimmick of the ice labyrinth is spinning these pillars around, which normally are just cutscenes that we can skip. This one spins the room around, so we have to wait here. But that also gives us time to hit that save point and refill any focus that we did have to use for backups, which is nice.
Yeah, and from the starting position you only need to spin the left pillar. The right pillar is optional stuff, so we just spin the left one, and as soon as it's ready, has rotated, then we keep going.
As you can see from both sides right now, with Simba and Meow Wow, links are very strong in this game.
Yep.
We use them a lot on beginner.
And Simba and Meow Wow have a pretty similar function, where it's just a bunch of AoE damage. But Simba is way more damage. The radius is a little smaller.
Yeah, Meow Wow's like finisher radius is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Meow Wow would absolutely not one-shot these enemies. Okay, he starting the lump of Firefight here, so more Mirage Staff clone spam. Hopefully getting some mic buffs.
Gonna try to lure him back to this back corner. But I don't want to get too far away from
there
him.
we go, Mike.
Ooh. Yeah.
Mike is going off right now.
Let's go.
We can do it.
Love to see it.
So if the boss hits Mike, that'll
Let's go.
interrupt the buff.
Oh my god, that was such a good fight.
But that's insane, wow.
We both got it. That's really cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's like as good as that fight can be, usually. Well, we heard a couple notes of let it go, don't worry about it.
Yeah, part of the VOD is probably going to get muted now. Not probably, it definitely will be.
I would hope that a couple notes don't cause any issues.
I can. It does. Like all my page 3 VODs get muted. I'm probably going to mute like right before I get to that cutscene, just so we don't have like 2 instances of it. Well, actually, no. You're not playing my audio. Never mind.
Incoming. Watch out.
We also now have a break here for beginner. Other categories, it's not much of a break. But on beginner, we don't have to really worry about depth. So a lot of runners, especially with Kupo Coin, will take this as a bathroom break, and you can just die and pop your Kupo Coin. It doesn't really lose much time at all.
Yeah, on critical mode, this minigame, very dangerous.
You die in 3 hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, the key to like not getting hit is just to like stay calm, keep towards the middle of the room, and just minimize the amount you're moving.
Yeah. Well, we can stay swift here, avoiding damage best as you can. I suppose it does prefer to keep the Koopa going.
Yeah. Not having to
I haven't
rebuy
timed
is
it,
nice.
but I think Dessa and I both think that getting hit actually causes you to go slower on it. I can't say for sure because I haven't timed it, but every time you get hit, the dragons get closer and closer to you.
Yeah.
So it seems like it slows you down.
I don't think it's slower though. Like they get closer, yes, but like if you listen to the music, I don't think it has any correlation to when it ends.
Well, I can't listen to the music. Twitch is muting it because of DMCA. Let it go. What can you do?
Oh, well.
But yeah, no, like I said, I haven't timed it myself. It's
Yeah,
just
no,
like
no
a
one
theory
has
I
timed
have.
it.
Because
I don't
nobody
think
really
anyone has
cares if
timed
we're
this
being
session
honest.
either.
No one cares
Like,
enough.
we
It
want to
sounds
like stay away
boring.
from this minigame as much as we can, so we're not going to go out of our way.
Yeah, anyway. So now we need to sled down this hill with Trinity sled. We can pick up some money on the way. It amounts to like a few hundred total.
Yeah. It's a good amount.
Yeah, mainly we just want to get through this fast as we can. But there isn't too much you can do. Like, just don't take a bad route.
All right.
Little tight there, getting
Let it
between
go.
those trees.
Just let it go.
That's so good.
Okay, so the enemies we were avoiding before, they're gonna come back here and we need to actually fight them.
So I'm gonna do a full fire combo at the head here, and then do a shot walk to iframe through these attacks from the other two. And then we'll switch targets and fire combo on this guy's head. I actually got Mirage Staff, that's pretty nice, because it has Magic Galvanizer on it. So I'm gonna be doing a bit more damage, and it also is good for movement as well, coming out of here.
Yeah, Magic Galvanizer is basically a combo boost, but for magic. So it increases your magic damage the longer your combo is. So coming up, it's basically a pretty lengthy movement section. It's really quite a nice section.
Need to customize Fire.
First, we're gonna have to assemble Olaf back into like back hole. He's split into multiple parts. There's some fake parts here, but the correct parts are always in the right places or are the same places.
Thank
So
God. So I was saying, thank God they are in the correct place every
Yeah,
time.
oh, that'd
very
be terrible
obnoxious.
if we'd actually have to look for them.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Oh, I think I might
it's a very consistent section.
Please kill, please kill. Oh,
Okay, so are getting some bad luck with the ninjas here and missed
like
the
you
kill
off in that
slightly
first
with the shot
partial.
luck. Meanwhile, Swift using Simba spawned the last wave with some roars and then using the finisher to finish the fight. And I believe we just unlocked another air slide.
Yes. So we're gonna put on Mage's Earring here. We're gonna put on Grand Magic Extender Air Combo plus Combo Master, and then Air Slide and Double Flight. So Grand Magic Extender increases our time for our magic situation commands. Air Slide level up makes our Air Slide go further, which is very nice. Double Flight gives us a double jump. Combo Master makes it so that we don't have to be hitting things in order to continue our combo. And the Air Combo Plus just gives us one extra attack in the air.
it's really nice that we get like our second level air slide like right here, because this is the longest section of movement in the entire run.
Yep. It's really nice that we get it right before. Makes this a lot faster.
Well, it's double flight.
So we
Yeah,
get to
the
do some
moment is
very
looking
cool
really
movement
nice
here.
for Swift right now.
Just keep moving. You'll warm up.
Gee, nothing ever gets you down, huh, Sora?
Very nice climb.
Yeah, that looks clean.
Oh, and then I attack towards an enemy that's behind me.
Oh no, it's all ruined now.
It was going so well.
All right. I love snow.
Yeah, so it's really putting that double flight, the super jump, the air slides to use here. go through this section really quickly. And next we have the Marshmallow Fight, which I believe you're going to be using a lot of fire.
Yeah, I do the baby strat and I don't Ralph.
Yeah,
I don't think
no way to
anybody
use
does
Ralph
the
on
Ralph
that boss.
strat.
Yeah, beginner runners do not dare use Ralph on Marshmallow. It's not easy. It's a little risky. If you fail, it's really bad, and it only saves like some several seconds.
Oh, the arrows are there's nice. So ever after, once we upgrade it, oh, I got early armor. But ever after, once we upgrade it, has Erosa built in. So you can get that even if you aren't using arrows at all. It just has a random chance of showing up, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, those abilities, they give you a 15% or like plus 15% chance to get that situation command when you fill the gauge. Even if you don't use it, but like if you use arrow, then of course the chance is even higher. But yeah, you can just sometimes get it randomly.
So we're picking up a chest here, which is the Force Ring. Force Ring gives us 4 magic, and it also has an ability on it called Full MP Blast, which is going to increase our damage from a magic cast when we're at full MP. And it's very nice. It's nice enough that within the last few months of the game's development, the world record holder, Logic, rerouted the category to purchase another Force Ring so that we run 2 Force Rings from Caribbean 1 through the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it boosts our damage by quite a bit, having the double full MP blast, which is very nice.
Yep, that's what I was talking about earlier with us needing to have extra money for this new route.
Yeah, the Force Ring that we buy in Caribbean, it costs 1,400 money. So that's about 7 ethers that we would normally buy. So picking up the extra like petite ribbon to sell, and just being more conservative with ethers overall, it's pretty important to be able to afford everything we need to.
Did you pick up any other pieces of gear to sell?
Not yet. I might pick up Cosmic Belt later, though.
I picked up Dark Anklet and the Fire Rosette in Monstropolis just because of like all the ethers I had to use on Chaos Carriage and King of Toys.
Yeah, there are a lot of items that you can pick up for safety. Okay, so the snowstorm, you can just use Simba to get through it really fast. But what's coming up next is a pretty big deal. We got Skull, the final boss, Farandal. So it's always been a really scary fight in KH3 speedrunning. The DM is really bad if you get it. It wastes so much time. So yeah, we're gonna hope that Swift pulls this off. Does his combos just right, keeps the boss staggered.
This strat is like, it may look very deceiving in the sense that it doesn't look that hard to do, but it's actually pretty precise, everything we're doing in this fight.
Yeah, in terms of positioning, timing, everything, it's very precise.
So Skull's gonna stagger here, and I'm gonna lock him in that stagger with fire combos, throw a high refocuser, do 4 fires into the Firaza, and then shot lock him again. And then after this, we'll Ether, do another full fire combo, and then shot lock to kill.
That looks good.
Very nice.
Alright, good job on that.
Incredibly stressful.
Yeah, it's so stressful.
What's good about this strat, though, is that it's 100% consistent.
Yep.
And thank God it is.
It's so nice.
Honestly, it's probably the best strat in like skull strats in general across all the categories are probably like the best fight strats in KH3 speedrunning that we've made.
I believe it was Yida who really pushed forward the strat that I just did, starting with the combo master and everything to start that combo up.
Yida took a lot of like things that we do on crit and brought it over to beginner to make like a lot of improvements. Yeah, not just on Skull, but Davy Jones and a few other fights.
The Davy strat is awesome.
I mean, yeah, the ever after shot lock is also a really big deal. Like we talked about the stagger before. So yeah, the skull also has the stagger endurance. I believe 25 of it to be precise. And each shot of ever after shot lock deals 1 stagger damage. So just 1 shot lock is enough to put him into that stagger state. And after that, those fires just keep him staggered, and that's how the thing works. Okay, Swift is flying to Caribbean, and meanwhile start fighting this snow serpent.
That sucks.
Oh.
I didn't think he'd go underground until he broke his wings.
That one's so early. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was. Also, not sure if I did that last dragon, the strat, properly. Are you supposed to shot lock it or just keep shooting fires?
On the last one, I just fire spam it the whole time.
Oh well.
Yeah, not a big deal.
So in Caribbean here, we're chasing after the Black Pearl, which has been hijacked by some anchor raiders. And because it's a bunch of nice flat land, you can use these blizzards to catch up to it pretty quickly.
Okay, getting a little bit interrupted there by the enemies and the cannons.
That's who's doing this.
And then by doing 3 fires into a full shot lock on the anchor raiders here, we're able to kill them. It can be a little bit hard to track them as they like zip across the rail that they have. But outside of that, that fight is pretty easy.
Yeah, anchor raiders pretty scary enemies. If you play on crit, they deal a lot of damage pretty quickly. On beginner, mostly it's just a problem that they have a lot of HP.
Jack said to head for the island straight in front of us.
Okay, so we're seeing some ship action here, so it's going to be a bit of a tutorial. At first the movement, we just move towards the islands, but then we get these 2 ships to appear, and they have these orbs that we need to shoot. Those orbs are like a weak spot, so if you destroy the orb, the ship dies. Oh no. Okay, so there you hope to just shoot 2 times and it's over, but a little unfortunate there.
Yep.
Okay, so Raging Vulture, everybody's favorite fight. Sort of a gimmick fight. You fly on this Heartless that shoots, and you just fly in the air and chase the Vulture. You want to use a lot of torpedoes. Torpedoes are affected by your fire boost because it is fire damage. I believe we do have Fire Cufflink, and Sora also has fire boost as an ability.
Whoops.
And the damage also scales off of Sora's strength, which we really don't have a lot of, but fortunately the game scales you to 35 strength minimum against Raging Vulture, so that also helps us out here.
So the game now wants me to like get up on Vulture's back, but that's actually a lot slower, so we're just gonna ride up against him. Shoot torpedoes.
Sorry.
Yeah. The situation, come on, it just takes so long. The animations and everything, and the damage isn't great. It's much better to just use the torpedoes.
He's being so nice. He's not running. Oh my god.
Yeah, he can give you a lot of trouble depending on what the AI decides to do. Like if he goes too far, then the torpedoes might actually just disappear before they hit him.
Or you just decide to like attack you the entire time and not let you do anything.
Yeah. So also if you go too high or too far or anything, then game's just gonna take control away from the player and turn him around. Yeah, but Vulture can go wherever he wants.
Outside of the game turning me around, I think that might have been the best Vulture I've ever had. He was so passive.
Yeah, that was definitely good. And also he got another air slide, so we now have air slide 3, the maximum it's gonna get, and that's very fast.
So we're gonna do another shop here. I'm gonna buy 2 Crepe Suzette, buy that other Force Ring that we were talking about before, and buy as many ethers as I can. I accidentally backed out too far. There's one other thing I want to do here, which is go into the synthesis here to hopefully pick up a magic boost from the Moogle, which we just got.
Yeah, so you need to get certain synth item drops to be able to get that magic boost.
Did you get it?
Yep.
Yeah, you don't always get it, but you do want to see it. It's not too rare, and like it's rarer to not get it.
Yeah.
You say that, but another reason why I quit grinding this category last time is because like 4 runs in a row, I didn't get it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it can be rough.
Sometimes the game just says no, and it's very sad.
Yeah.
There's a lot
not
of
like
ways
a
the game can just
huge
shut you
amount of
down.
RNG in this game, but what's there is really gets on your nerves when you're trying to grind for a good time. Swift, what is this movement?
I don't know.
So you want to avoid jellyfish? Don't take example of Swift. You actually want to avoid them?
Actually, that puts my health in a pretty scary spot. I think we don't.
Yeah, so as the fish boss, underwater combat is a bit limited. Your magic changes into sea variations of everything. So we have sea fire and the sea thunder and sea arrow. It changes it in such a way that they all have like a set amount of damage. But you know, compared to what we would normally have, it's basically the same. So well, we still deal a lot of damage.
And Thar's coming up into the snowstorm right before Skull. Which hopefully you get the DM skip.
Yeah, so coming up for Swift is some boat riding that's going to be a race with Luxord. You just need to get to Port Royale quicker. You shoot some orbs to get those situation commands that boost your speed. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen. So that being said, you can now cheer Thar on to get the Skull DM skip.
I really don't like getting Flare Force that early.
Oh.
Yeah, that's awkward. So you don't want to hit that Flare Force. You want to avoid it. That's why you don't
Just
want
gonna
to
make my situation command like menuing like all jumbled now.
Yeah.
When you try to do the Firaza, you have to watch out. Which sucks.
I should have enough. Oh, just enough. Whew.
Oh.
Alright,
There we
good
go.
stuff.
Nice job.
That was almost very scary.
Yeah, great job with that.
Full speed.
Can I hit that orb? Oh my god. Hit it.
Like, that front orb has been my nemesis these past like few runs.
There we go.
Because I was having a little bit of struggle hitting that last orb on Luxord's ship. But yeah, after dealing with the orbs on Luxord's ships, well, I should mention in that case his ship doesn't sink, but yeah, you just build up your situation commands that way. So you get this tailwind, which makes it faster. But after that, you can hit these orbs on these ships that spawn. So also it's random if these ships spawn or if tornadoes spawn instead. And tornadoes are just trouble and no benefit, so...
Oh, there's one.
Oh no.
I thought I could get around it, I was wrong. Hopefully, oh good, the game just spawned 2 ships, as I was about to say, hopefully I get 2 more ships. So we want our bar on the bottom left there that fills up as we kill ships to be as high as possible here, so that when we get into this next part where we are fighting Luxord's ship, we get our commands as fast as we can. The commands themselves won't carry over, but the bar will.
Yeah, so in all of these ship combat scenarios, you want to have a full bar when going in, rather than any situation commands. And raging cannons is generally the best thing that we can get in terms of situation commands. It's just a lot of like single target damage. And Luxord's ship has a lot of HP, so we're gonna need that.
So we get to use that tidal wind to get over him, and then Wind Chasers does quite a bit of damage, and we're going to be able to finish him off with his raging cannons.
I call flames.
And so this ship actually teleports away after a certain amount of time. So by setting up and getting all of those commands before we go into him, we get rid of that risk of him teleporting out.
Also, we have Thundaga now, and it's insane.
Yeah, so Thundaga here is one-shotting everything except for the large bodies and then the anchor readers that'll spawn later.
No BD player. I am very much behind as well. Swift is better than me at this run for sure, but a lot of costly mistakes have cost me a lot of time here.
Yeah, especially the gummy skip stuff was truly unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna blame that on the console.
Yep.
Since you're not on your PS5.
Switching back.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I got the worst orb pattern, just like you, Swift.
Oh.
Take this.
Yeah, you want to see the orbs on the outer sides because they're gonna like turn inwards and then you can't hit the orbs. Anyway, Swift is collecting crabs. The game just tells you need to collect 300 crabs, and I believe we're instead going to collect 500?
Yes.
So by collecting 500 crabs, that'll instantly take us out of this section and teleport us next to the ship and progress the story. But what it also does is it levels up our ship to level 3, and what that does is give us access to Surge, which is just an ability that you can use at any time to boost your speed. So that way we can accelerate super quickly and just overall move quicker, and it ends up saving time overall.
Clip the wall there, unfortunately. It would have been better if I could carry the sled all the way out here to hit these last boxes, but it's not too big of an issue.
Why was Crab just caught by Automod? So yeah, that fort there has a lot of crabs in the middle, like the jackpot.
And then here we're getting our last set, which is up in this waterfall. We're gonna thunder and then fall a little bit and do another thunder, and it triggers these 2 sets. We get to pick up here.
Yeah, there we go. That was looking smooth. Meanwhile, Fetching Vulture for a Thar looking okay.
Ooh.
We get the jackpot today, Swift.
Oh my god, this is great.
Vulture, lump of ore.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, so now that we have our ship, we're gonna just get out of here and not use the ship.
Oh, couldn't end it well for me. I should have just shot some bullets. But whatever.
Much like earlier in the run, where we left Toy Box to go to Kingdom of Corona and then came back, we're going to do the same thing here. Pretty much for the same reasons. So we're going to be getting tools in San Francisco that are going to make getting through the end of Caribbean a lot nicer. And I don't think we've mentioned this, but because the game uses the in-game timer, and these loading screens for entering the worlds doesn't count towards that, it makes more sense to hop out of Caribbean, come here, and then go back. So we're going to be getting Firaga and Magic Galvanizer. Those are the two big things here. We're also going to be picking up some magic boosts, and we'll get a level up or two along the way as well.
I didn't get the Moogle with the magic boost.
Oh no.
That's so unfortunate.
You only got 2? Oh no.
Yeah, there is a chance to pick it up later. But you would prefer to get it now.
Yep. So now that we have Thundaga as well, we're going to be using Thunders a lot for these larger group fights. Like across this bridge, everything just dies to one Thundaga. And I'm going to Ether here and do a Thundaza and go straight into Aerial, which we got after Lightning Angler. And Aerial is absolutely ridiculous with the amount of damage you can do. On these larger targets that don't stagger. I didn't even have to do a second jump, that was crazy.
That was perfect, wow. So... yeah, Aerial just it just shoots so many projectiles. You need to time it correctly on the ground so that you get the excellent text, and that way the projectiles you're gonna. I don't know if it's I think you'll have more of them, or they deal more damage, or even both.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, against large enemies, you can just hit all of those projectiles, and the damage is insane.
We're also coming up to one of the most interesting movement sections in the run, which is this Flash Tracer here. So the game lays out a path for you and is like, go through all these rings, get them all, get a high score, and we can mostly just ignore a bunch of it. So at the start here, we can just jump off to the side and get on this rail instead of going up the building. And then we get to skip a bunch of stuff later as well.
Yeah, basically we had to figure out where exactly the triggers are to progress this section. It's not really where the game tells you it is. So we just needed to like try it out and see like, hey, okay, when we go here, from here we can just progress and go to the end. And such.
So here we can skip this fan that the game tells us to go to and just go to the second one immediately.
Yep.
And we can do a cool shot lock down, air step through the top ring, and it triggers getting onto the ball a little bit faster than otherwise. But if you hit the ring on the way up, then it doesn't work. And we're gonna air step to the back here. Just go straight up to the top of the building.
We got the sub minute.
Yeah.
Okay, meanwhile, the star is coming up on the Luxor traits as well. Building up the saturation gauge bar right before it, so he can get more of those tailwinds to go fast.
You had a much nicer opening to this race than I did.
Shouldn't have done that tailwind there. Missed that ship. Whatever.
Yeah, didn't have trouble with the Luxor trip though, so that was good. Swift doing the rooftop fight, so this is just a lot of Thundaga. It's just this area is so small that the Thundaga and the Thundaga just hits everything and just it's over.
They actually hurt each other because of like the electrified status effect they get from Thundaga.
Yeah, the enemies, especially the last wave, they just spawn so close to each other. And more use of aerial here. It's another big enemy, so we use aerial.
Got a little stuck on him there.
Oh yeah, that was awkward. You don't want to end up too far from the boss, so we do kind of manipulate his movements a little bit, but yeah, that was a little unexpected, a little awkward there. But yeah, we bring the HP down to 1, we can't kill it yet. We need to wait for this phase transition. And after that we just need any 1 point of damage and it'll die.
Baymax E3 my early, that was nice.
Yeah, so yeah, but if Baymax is the ether, you don't have to use one from your own inventory, just use arrow. The boss is, or that part especially is immune to thunder, so that's why you have to use arrow. For the instant 1 point of damage.
And then we pick up a magic boost there. There's one other magic boost I'm going to be picking up as well. And here we have a timed section where we're just going to be getting some money because we don't have anything else pressing to do. So Meow here is going to hit a bunch of these street lamps, which are going to drop money. Then we get to go around and pick all that money up.
Yeah, so Dark Cube is a boss we fight later, but like story-wise, at this point we don't know its weakness, so we can't fight it. We just need to survive.
And then we're also picking up this Storm Fan chest, which we can sell later for more money. Coming up, we have my favorite movement section in the whole run, the Big Hero 6 Rescue. This is actually really fun to do.
Oh yeah, so we need to save all of these persons who are trapped by these Dark Cubes.
Can you hear me?
They all have their like gimmicks, like this one where you have to do the slam attack, and here we're gonna have to use some magic.
So I'm gonna air step down here so that I get right next to this chest. This is the other magic boost we're picking up.
Oh, nice! You're doing my air step movement. Yes.
Yep.
I love this new way to do it.
So good. And then
we're using water instead of blizzard. SMH.
It's faster for me to get to.
So basically after frescoing each of these, there's a bit of a delay before the cutscene pops up, so you can use that opportunity to get to the next one. But during that time you can't pick up chests, so that's why Swift wanted to pick it up before finishing that. And this will be the last one.
So this section actually can be quite difficult when you're learning it. Because Gogo, who's trapped in that ball, is constantly moving around. So if you're slow on a certain section, she can just run very, very far and get into a position where it's really hard to reach her.
Yeah, so you need to hit that cycle. So you need the Dark Cubes fight, so I think a little bit of setup here. Hero's Glove, that armor piece actually boosts the effectiveness of items. So Ethers, they're actually going to recover more of our MP now. And we have Farraga now.
This fight goes by very fast. We can just stun lock him with fires and then do a shot lock to kill. It's a very annoying fight if it doesn't go the way it's supposed to. He has attacks that can take him out of the map, make him invulnerable, You just have to wait them out. So not having to sit through any of that is really nice.
Yeah, so the key is to immediately get some stagger on it, and then the shot lock is going to keep it staggered, and we can follow it up after that. The stagger endurance is broken, and yeah, we'll just keep using magic. Don't give a chance to recover for the boss, and get to kill it before any of the cycles. So if it gets to attack, then yeah, it wastes so much time.
And now we have a boring fight. It's hard thing as an auto-scroller.
Very exciting, not boring. Yeah, so it's basically an auto-scroller. All we can do here is shoot. And this also scales off of our magic, which fortunately is pretty high for us. You can also deflect these blocks that he throws at you, but on beginner they really don't do much. The thing is that the damage those blocks do scale with difficulty, such that on critical they deal more. Like they deal more to you, but you deflect them back and they deal damage to the boss, and it's also more damage to the boss on critical.
It is a very noticeable difference too.
Yeah, on beginner it's very little damage. On critical it's very meaningful damage.
Sora, stop shooting.
Yes, sometimes Sora just randomly stops.
So weird.
Yeah, it's like some people call it a reload, but there's no consistency there. It's random.
What?
So the second phase, we actually have free movement, but that doesn't really change too much of what we do. We still just keep shooting. The blocks tend to take the auto lock on away, so we need to get really close to avoid that.
Weird position.
And yeah, you can also hit the blocks to convert them, and that way your shots will not get blocked by those.
Ow.
Okay, San Fran is done, so Swift is heading back to Caribbean. We're going to see some ship action, and then Davy Jones.
Hey Swift, I'll give you $30 if you Ralph Davy Jones.
Oh god. $30 isn't enough. I never want to do that again. It scares me so much.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, with the current strat, Ralph is no longer the fastest strat. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Ralph strats are hard. What we have now is not that hard. It's still tricky. We see are using Ariel to destroy the metal troll. And he's gonna have that flash tracer movement section coming up.
I'm gonna go ahead and go to the Moogle shop to see if I'll probably have the synth items to get the magic boost now. If not, I'm gonna be very sad.
Yeah, hopefully you do.
Hopefully you have it now.
You surely should.
Yep, we got it.
Awesome.
And I'm not gonna bother using it until I use the other magic boosts.
Yep.
Alright, so basically with some truly bad luck, you don't even get it there. But yeah, well, we were saved from that misfortune.
So coming up on my side, I have my least favorite fight in the whole run. But it does have some interesting stuff to it.
Yeah, and you'll see the level 3 ship coming into use here with the surge ability. So yeah, you just see he immediately uses the surge, just instantly max speed. You can see on the bottom right corner the speed meter. It just goes to max. That's how fast we're going.
And so I purposefully have killed 2 ships here. I won't kill any more, because this puts my bar in a good position for the Shipwreck Cove fight we're coming up to. These ships being right in front of me is a little bit sketchy, but we made it past them fine.
Yeah, and again, we want to have that situation gauge bar almost full, so we can instantly get a situation command and just, you know, have more of that resource going into this fight.
Oh, 10101.
Ooh. Very pretty time.
Nice one.
Okay, cool.
I forget, are we meant to thunder the enemies below the skyscraper to get arrows before we go up, or do we just go straight up?
I do it. I know Logic doesn't though, so I think you can do it either way. I think I have enough bar here. I'm actually not sure. But either way, we should be fine. So I want to have every command tier and enough so that one more orb will fill my bar. This is cutting it a little close.
Yeah, you saw Tidal Wave there, just clear all those ships in a large radius. Very useful for ending that.
Raging Cannons. So this ship has a ton of HP, but it dies as soon as all of its orbs are gone.
Something I didn't know when I played casually.
I didn't get cannons, okay. Well, this might not die here. Oh, we still got it, that's fine. That's one of the benefits of having the level 3 ship is our cannons are
it makes it so much easier. Yeah, so basically if you don't kill it fast enough there, then it's gonna disappear and then you're gonna have to chase it and wait for it to appear and stuff like that. It's really annoying. But yeah, that was a good fight. So before Davy Jones, we do have to deal with Kraken, and again, level 3 ship coming into use, just having more cannons, more damage. And again, we want to build up raging cannons, and we can do so by shooting the ship. That's spawning every now and then. You can spawn in several different locations. Sometimes it's really far and sometimes it's really close. Like that affects how easy it is for you to hit it. But all of the positions that it can spawn in, you can hit it and get the raging cannons.
Good spawn so far. It's been in very nice positions.
Yeah. Very friendly.
Oh, wonderful. As long as it doesn't spawn in front of me here at the end when I do this cannons, this was a nice fight.
It shouldn't.
Do this.
Yeah, do you want to explain Davy Jones?
Sure, so I'm gonna roll forward at the start here, which should force Davy onto the upper deck. Hopefully he's over on this side. And I'm gonna hit him to stagger him, and then do a fire combo. I'm gonna walk forward Ether, and do more fires, guard his hit and counter kick him. Do another fire combo Ether, and then do another fire combo to launch him up into the air, to go into a Fire Raza, and then we'll kill with this full shot walk here. So that entire time Davy doesn't get to act, and he has DMs that he does when he hits a certain HP gate. But by keeping him trapped in the air there, he can't teleport away and do his DM. That skips both of the ones that he would normally do.
Yeah, so the hit that he guard, that was like hitting his RV, that's his retaliation. But then counter kick just opens up another combo for us.
Come on.
And now we're done with all the Disney worlds.
Yep, so just exit the world, and that's going to bring us into the next section, which is going to be Dark Aqua.
I'm struggling to get this chest.
Oh no, the ledge. Did some cool parkour though. The blizzard there does look a lot nicer than the water.
Oh.
Oh, that is still. Anyway, that's gonna be good.
Oops. That's okay, we still caught her.
Yeah, easily.
Oh no.
Okay, yeah, so we do have another Demon Tower fight. So yeah, I believe that Dark Faraga got wasted on
Oh,
Demon
no.
Tower while it was Fred, taking less damage in that phase. Or,
At least he didn't knock me.
yeah, so Aqua can spawn during that fight, and you can't damage the boss during that section, so... Okay, so blink and you miss this fight. Basically, all we need is shot lock and some fire. Oh, it's died at you. Okay. Yeah, if you like the music for Dark Aqua fight, then too bad. The speedrun doesn't have a lot of it.
Great Dark Cubes fight on Thar's end as well.
Dark Cubes is another fight where it's tricky to get like full shot locks if you're playing on base.
Yeah.
Like the just the pixels of like the enemy and like the surrounding arena really messes with things.
Yeah, on Pro it's a pretty consistent fight. We get to place Aqua here.
You get it? Oh,
I didn't. Oh, Vanitas is being nice, jumping into the air immediately. That's good.
Yeah, that's what I
hopefully
like
that
to
means
see.
this will stop him from going underground. Oh, well, he's doing it now. That's fine then. Ow.
Yeah, so for this, obviously Sora's stats and equipment doesn't matter again, so we just sort of have this fixed set of tools available for this fight. But Aqua is pretty strong. Shot lock, magic, melee, it's all quite effective against Vanitas, so... There we go. Now, let's see, Thar is fighting Dark Baymax, shooting orbs out of the Keyblade. Non-stop, unlike Swift.
oh, he did it.
Oh, the perfectly placed block. Oh no.
A little awkward positioning there. That looks good. There we go. So we're going to be watching loading screens and cutscene skips on both ends here.
Yeah, these cutscenes after Vanitas is like the longest section of like cutscene skips in the game.
Yeah.
There's
it's
so
like
many.
A minute 45 seconds of just waiting for loading screens.
And on a base
skipping.
PS4, it's over 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's really
downtime.
bad.
Wow, look at all
Alright, hopefully I don't crash here, because I probably will.
What?
It's very
Crash?
hard.
Oh, I thought you meant game crash. Well, like, is there a known crash?
Yeah, so Swift is known for been never hitting any walls in this section, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm very good at driving the gummy ship in these tight corridors.
Yeah, so essentially the ship we have is extremely fast and these corridors are extremely tight.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but okay. That's fine.
Extra picture for the memories. Yeah, so camera can be used to instantly stop all the momentum. You can also bonk into walls to instantly stop.
Yeah.
Oh.
Only 2, that's fine.
Yeah, this blue... One more at the end, that was great. Yeah, those blue tunnels really help a bit. They just sort of railroad you. You just get in them and you don't need to worry about moving side to side or anything.
So we also finally get to see how good at combat Endymion is here as well, because we can't skip this boss like we did the other ones. We can still break out of the fight the same way that we did, but we're closed in here, so we don't actually have a way of progressing out of here, unfortunately.
Yeah, by killing this boss, this structure that we're trapped in opens up, and then we can go to Keyblade Graveyard.
Nice, a 45. Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. That's honestly, like, yeah, Swift made it look easy, but, you know, if I try to do that section, it's gonna be like 10 seconds slower.
Thar's coming up to Shipwreck Cove, the big ship fight. Thar, what are your thoughts on Shipwreck Cove? How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's terrible, but it's a lot better with the new crab route. I don't like that ship pattern spawn I got. They were all just blocking my way.
Oh no.
Okay, Swift has the 10k fight here, so you have that bar in the top left corner, so you need to bring that down. And an effective way to do that is just to get rid of these shadows that are like not really even real enemies. They just die to like literally anything. Like Arrogance is especially effective here. It's just shooting and spinning around with Arrogance just destroys these shadows in a radius. So
I'm getting very bad spawn patterns here.
Oh no.
Oh, is that enough? Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, they were all their orbs were just facing away from me.
Yeah, that was bad.
That's so bad.
Yeah, or we should be clear.
Without Tidal
here.
Surge though, that would have been like significantly slower.
Alright.
Yeah, there we go. You want to get this
whoops.
mountain coaster, so you need this to be able to finish this fight. And as soon as you get it, you want to use it.
Oh,
And
please kill,
you
please
can-
kill, please kill. I'm screwed.
Oh
No,
no.
I'm not. Oh, God.
Oh.
Thank the Lord.
Oh
Okay.
my god, that was so clutch.
Whew, okay. That was scary. So yeah, about the mountain coaster, you can mash both X and R2. They both shoot. Or you can also just mash X instead of holding it down to shoot faster. Something that a lot of people might not know, but yeah, you can shoot faster by mashing, and it really makes it a lot faster.
So we were also able to carry Mirage Staff out of that fight, which made that movement a lot nicer getting to the end there. The Mirage Staff dashes scale with our air slide level, so now that we have air slide level 3, Mirage Staff is incredible on the ground. It's basically just a grounded air slide that we can do. So another very cool movement section coming up here. This is Sora Collection. So we're in the final world and we have to pick up a bunch of different Soras to put ourselves back together. And the route for doing this is pretty interesting. So this first phase is, for me at least, I have not put as much time into it as the second phase. I have like a starting thing that I'll do, but then I like miss an air slide or something and then it all falls apart. The second phase is very nice. So we're gonna go off the corner here and pick up these 6 Soras as we drop down.
Pretty bad.
What a weird place.
Oh.
Yeah, we do have Thar on Davy Jones here.
I gotta put myself back together.
Hopefully no issues. Hopefully skipping DM. Okay, that should get us going.
Please catch him. Please catch him.
Yeah.
Oh, I messed up the opening and I didn't get Firasa.
Oh no!
What's going on?
Yeah, so try to use that pirate ship to recover and get stagger on David Jones before he escapes and uses the DM. Unfortunately, didn't quite catch him. And yeah, with this amount of HP, he DMs twice. During the second DM, we can already damage David Jones, but the first, we have to clear the tentacles.
I don't know where he is. I go Simba because his AoE is huge.
Yeah, it's really tricky, like, well, with those tentacles, taking your target and blocking your wave and your movement.
And the thing about Davy Jones is, once you push him to his threshold where he would do his second DM, and you end up getting DM'd, you're guaranteed to get, like, 2 back-to-back DMs. You can't catch him out of it and recover. It's really unfortunate. I probably should have just taken 1 DM and then killed him before the second, but I don't know where his health was exactly. I was hoping that pirate ship could, like, save me.
Yeah, no, I'm not like, don't worry about it. Like,
It's not a big deal.
yeah.
Mhm.
We do still have 2FM and DDD, especially DDD. There's gonna be a lot of RNG and such that I can turn the tides. So
Yes.
don't go thinking that Seekers of Darkness have already won, which is the
Remember,
red team.
In Kingdom Hearts 3, the Guardians of Light got completely wiped out by the Demon Tide. They literally died, but they still came back and won.
Yeah,
Very true.
anything can happen.
So the last shop of the run's coming up here. I'm gonna sell just a bunch of
Oh,
stuff.
what?
So all these extra items that we picked up to sell earlier, and then also just all the old accessories that we had on. I'm gonna buy sweetbread. We're buying sea bass. I'm buying crab bisque and mushroom plus a bunch of ethers.
Yeah, so the EXP glitch. So that's a way for us to get a lot of experience really quickly. And for that, we need to build up Sandaza and Eroga, I believe.
Yep.
Yes, you need a Rogon beginner.
Yeah, so we want to use the Sandaza and then Eroga and then go into Shot Life to slow the game down. And the lingering hitboxes of both Sandaza and Eroga are going to just repeatedly kill enemies like as soon as they spawn, and you're gonna see it's going to lag the game. This timing is a little tight. Okay, barely got it. There we go. You just see those EXP numbers popping up, the game lagging, levels just popping in. Yeah. So that's gonna set us up for a better endgame. Gives us more magic, some useful abilities, right?
Yes. Yeah, we get Thunder Boost off that, which is the very big one that we want.
Yeah.
Thunder Boost and Combo Plus.
You know, I just thought of something. How would that look if you put the game on stable mode for the EXP glitch?
I
actually
don't think
tried
it
that
actually
afterward.
change because, like, on default mode it goes below 30 FPS anyway. I don't think it will matter.
That's true.
Really.
And it may actually... actually, I don't know. Let me do Vanitas real quick.
I'm actually
yeah,
under a level compared to what I want to be at, but that's okay.
Yeah, the lag of that glitch is a side effect. There is no, like, we don't want to cause the game to lag, but just killing those enemies so quickly just causes the game to lag.
So ideally there we go from 28 up to 36. I ended up hitting 35, which means I'm one magic under compared to what I'm used to. It makes a little bit of a difference here in endgame, but it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, I believe you can go up to like 38 or something if you get the best of luck.
Yep.
I think I've done it once on beginner. On crit, we actually have a food bonus called EXP incentive, which multiplies the EXP you get. And I've actually was able to get up to like 42 once.
Oh my
doing
god.
crit.
Yeah. There's also a specific damage range that you need to hit. If you have too much damage, then Sandaza alone is going to kill those enemies. And if that happens, then the interaction between Sandaza and Eroga is not going to work. And yeah, then the glitch doesn't work. You don't really kill a lot of the enemies at once anymore.
Every portal the shadows control.
Kind of weird gimmick. Not entirely sure why it works like that, but just how it does. What level did you get, Swift?
I hit 35.
Oh, so you're down. That's not a huge deal.
Yep. It mostly just makes a difference for a few partial shot locks, but nothing we can't make up with just going a little higher.
Okay, did you shoot 2 fires with nano gear and then just do a 24 shot lock and that killed him?
I just did 1 fire. Yeah.
1 fire? How come when I did 2 in practice, I didn't kill?
Oh.
That Corona Lich can be scary if it gets away, because the area is so huge, and then you need to chase him down. But
he runs so far.
Yeah, able to get the kill quick there. And there's one more, the San Fran Lich. So it does have different resistances based on where you are. San Fran being sort of the most difficult one, especially if thunders are not going to deal a lot of damage. Yep, Shotlock's still effective.
Very, very effective. The reason that we switched to Nano Gear here is specifically because Nano Gear's full shot lock hits instantly, kind of like Ever After's partial shot lock does. So on these 2 liches that are resistant to thunder, we can do the Nano Gear full shot lock and just get that damage out immediately instead of having to wait for the Ever After shot lock to tick up.
I got a bonkless gummy trip, by the way. Just wanted to say that.
You win. I wish I could not crash in the gummy. It's so hard. Now we get to see Demon Tide again, which if you were here for the last run, 0.2, you saw how much it takes to deal with Demon Tide. But in Cage 3 we have Ariel now, so we can just do this. And Ariel, as we've seen on Dino earlier and on the Troll, does a lot of damage.
Yeah, again, I have to bring it down to 1 HP before, and have a transition to second phase before we can kill it.
I'm gonna mute my mic for like the next minute and a half, so you don't have to hear me mashing triangle. But yeah.
Yeah, more specifically, he's going to time it, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of triangle pressing.
All right. Let's go.
So yeah, there's a certain rhythm here. If you go too fast, then it's going to drop your input, and you also just don't want to go too slow. But yeah, that's all there really is to it. You need to dodge some projectiles later. Yeah, it's not a big deal at all. Meanwhile, Star dealing with the 10k, using the arrow guns to clear these shadows very efficiently.
Now's our chance.
So you can use the clones with the Mirage Staff to build your arrows quick, and then get to arrow guns quicker.
I personally like to shot lock this big guy. Because I think when you kill him, it takes off like a good chunk of the enemy gauge.
Yeah, the bigger enemies definitely take off more of the bar. Like the shadows, like let's say one shadow, it affects the bar very little, but it's just that we can deal with a lot of them very quickly. That makes it effective.
We're almost finished.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah, Swift is done mashing, he can speak again. So yeah, we're starting Keyblade Graveyard org fights, Organization 13, so it's going to be a bunch of fights, mainly with mainly having 2 members at once that we have to fight, with certain exceptions. And a lot of it is going to be, first of all, we're going to be using a lot of Firaga, and and then there is some strategy involved in bringing both of them down to minimal HP before we kill off one of them, so that after the cutscene,
Oh, I guess I need to before it closes.
the other boss is low HP, and we can kill it before any like DMs or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. A good mix of Firaga and Thundaga. Something that we recently discovered, especially with the double force ring route we use now, is that with full MP blast, Thundaga does more damage than Firaga, which is something we I think we were under the impression they did like the same damage to a single target, or like around the close. But yeah, Thundaga actually does more than Firaga, surprisingly. So when we can
Thundaga is just the biggest damage spell.
Right. So I don't want to hear any more of that KH3 Aspire spam. It's Thunder spam now, baby.
Yep.
It is Fire Thunder, Link spam. We spam a lot of things. Shot likes you.
Nice.
So, Marluxia, Larxene, Luxord coming up here. So I'm gonna start with targeting Marluxia. Which this should get me a Firaza. An Ether. I'm gonna switch to Larxene to try and get some damage on her. That should be enough. And then again, we're gonna switch back to Marluxia. And once we get Marluxia down to 1 HP, it'll force to the next phase. Luxord here actually has a really cool strat that we do that takes advantage of Magic Galvanizer, so I'm just gonna hit him twice in Thunder and he dies.
Looks so hilarious. Like, it used to be a little more intricate, but yeah, with the EXP glitch and stuff with you, then and the 2 4 strings, yeah, just that.
So managing the health of everybody in these fights is actually very important, because once you get down to the last enemy, they instantly DM. And so we want to make sure that we have the ability to kill them as they start their DM up and they don't get like iframes from their DM or do something weird that makes it harder to kill them.
Yeah.
Marluxia and Larxene in particular, it's very important.
Yep.
So these panels in the floor are switches.
Oh, yeah, also, if that wasn't clear, these panels on the floor are switches for the doors.
And then next up we have the Syx and Xion fight, which Xion doesn't really do much here, but we are going to get something nice with her we get to do for fun. Oh my god, the game is nice.
Oh, all that grand match does a lot of damage. Also, those claymores that Syx throws, they deal a lot of damage. On beginner, we can generally tank them, but yeah, we went pretty low HP there.
You have your Kuko coin still?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Xion should hopefully heal me here too.
Still haven't achieved our goal.
And then Vanitas and Terra, I want to kill them in a specific order, so that we're killing Vanitas first. It actually gets rid of a cutscene by killing Vanitas first. Oh, I thought I was running to the ground. That's fine. And then Terranort here is going to immediately DM. So I'm going to roll forward, Ether, and then fire him here while he's stationary.
All those grand magic!
I can't believe I got another set of 3. That's crazy.
If you get a 3 on 3x, I might be a little upset.
Oh no.
Okay, so we see Thar doing the XP glitch, so if you missed that last time, then pay attention there. It is quite wild. And Swift is starting the 3x, the triple Xehanort fight, so it's going to be young Xehanort, Ansem, and Xemnas. Very tough, tricky fight.
That was such a good EXP glitch.
That was really good.
That was so good.
Nice.
I just got blocked by an invisible wall of some sort.
Weird moment.
So here, I'm gonna jump, fire, and then water for iframes through Xemnas' hit before continuing that combo. That also gets me a mix of magic for these arrows, so hopefully I'll get some good grand magic and not Mirage stuff. But let's see. That's good.
What was the sequence of casts you just did there?
Fire, water, water, thunder, fire.
Fire, water, water, thunder, fire. Got it.
Alright, cool. And now we've killed Xemnas, and everybody else is at an HP where they can die here. So I'm gonna Ether here, and we'll be able to kill young Xehanort pretty quickly. And then we also get to kill Ansem here. So we set this up in a specific way so that everybody here dies during the startup of the Keyblade Storm. Ansem actually has a lot of health, I might not kill him. This is a little bad. But we'll see.
Oh?
Oh, thank God.
That was so close.
Oh my
Can't
God.
believe you got that 28 off.
Whew.
I'm so surprised I didn't get hit out of that shot lock. Wow.
Yeah, Ansem being the tankiest out of the three. Yeah, that was cutting it really close with that HP. Like Ansem was just about to disappear, and
Yeah.
then Swift would have had to wait for the Keyblades to come down and attack and all of that.
And now we're coming up to the hardest fight in the run. These Seekers here.
Pay
There's
close
a lot
attention.
of them. Oh, I did fire. Well, this might actually be bad now.
No! Okay.
Fire?
Okay, good recovery. Good recovery there, Swift. I was scared when he just started doing fire.
Alright, I'm gonna wait here for Xehanort to attack, and then recover through his attack. Firaza, Erosa, and that pushes the piece. Without the Erosa, Thundaga would have worked as well. Then we have Armored Xehanort 2, which brings us underwater again. So I'm gonna do 3 fires here, and then Ether. I'm gonna do more fires. I'm gonna do 3 fires and an arrow, and then Ether. I'm gonna arrow him to make sure he stays put. Now Armored Xehanort 3, we get to stun from the very beginning, which is very nice.
Yeah, you truly need to like mash here to get the stagger before he does anything.
Oop, that's slow. That works though. I was 1 under. So that's one of the shot locks.
Okay.
If I was at level 36, that would have killed in 15.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm at 35,
That's
that kills in 19 instead.
So one magic stat is 4 ticks of a shot. Good to know. For that, I mean, if that made any sense.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so this is the last health bar that we're going to have to go through. Okay, so second phase, we're gonna use Stitch here. First usage of him in this run. So we just make a square around him, and we know that he's going to be here as we use the finisher, and he's gonna deal a bunch of damage. And that's 1 HP, and we just use the final situation command, the last ray, and that is basically it, but the time is not quite done.
Yep.
Yeah, I got like a minute or so of a cinematic we gotta watch. We're sorta, he might die here.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, Swift still needs to make sure that Sora doesn't die.
Yep. I gotta reflect the. Oh no.
No.
Not like this.
It happened again.
It's so hard. Just can't beat him.
Sora!
Is that actually coming through your mic?
Yeah.
Yes.
Coming from a controller.
So yeah, those shots are going through the controller, through his mic.
Alright, and then time's coming up as we hit this last laser.
Yep, you do it.
Let me know.
Alright. Go, 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 go.
Cool.
Hey, GG, Swift.
GG, Swift. Thank you for the generous donation of time that I'm going to throw away immediately.
No.
I kid.
We can mute for UX.
All right.
All the Keyblade.